Chapter 14 of The Duke of Chimney Butte. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. The Duke of Chimney Butte by G.W. Ogden. Chapter 14. Notice is served. Taterleg was finding things easier on his side of the ranch. Nick Hargis was lying still. No hostile acts had been committed. This may have been due to the fierce and bristling appearance of Taterleg, as he humorously declared, or because Hargis was waiting reinforcements from the penal institutions of his own or surrounding states. Taterleg had a good many nights to himself as a consequence of the security which his grisly exterior had brought. These he spent at Glendora, mainly on the porch of the hotel in company of Alta Wood, chewing gum together as if they wove a fabric to bind their lives in adhesive amity to the end. Lambert had a feeling of security for his line of fence also, as he rode home on the evening of his adventurous day. He had left a note on the pieced wire reminding Grace Kerr of his request that she ease her spite by unhooking it there instead of cutting it in a new place. He also added the information that he would be there on a certain date to see how well she carried out his wish. He wondered whether she would read his hope that she would be there at the same hour, or whether she might be afraid to risk Vesta Philbrook's fury again. There was an eagerness in him for the hastening of the intervening time, a joyous lightness which tuned him to such harmony with the world that he sang as he rode. Taterleg was going to Glendora that night. He pressed Lambert to join him. "Man's got to take a day off sometime to rest his face and hands," he argued. "Them fellers can't run off any stock tonight, and if they do, you can't get very far away with them before we'd be on their necks. They know that. They're as safe as if we had 'em where they belong." "Oh, I guess you're right on that, Taterleg. I've got to go to town to buy me a pair of clothes anyhow, so I'll go with you." Taterleg was as happy as a cricket humming a tune as he went along. He had made liberal application of perfume to his handkerchief and mustache, and of barber's pomatum to his hair. He had fixed his hat on carefully for the protection of the cowlick that came down over his left eyebrow, and he could not be stirred beyond a trot all the way to Glendora for fear of damage that might result. "I had a run-in with that feller the other night," he said. "What feller do you mean?" "Jedlick, durn him." "You did? I didn't notice any of your ears bit off." "No, we didn't come to licks. He tried to horn in while me and Alta was out on the porch." "What did you do?" "Didn't have a show to do anything but hand him a few words. Alta, she got me by the arm and drugged me in the parlor and slammed the door. No use trying to break away from that girl. She could pull an elephant away from his hay if she took a notion." "Didn't Jedlick try to hang on?" "No, he stood out in the office rumbling to the old man, but that didn't bother me no more than the north wind when you're in bed under 4 blankets. Alta, she played me some tunes on her guitar and sung me some songs. Tell you, Duke, I just laid back and shut my eyes. I felt as easy as if I owned the railroad from here to Omaha." "How long are you going to keep it up?" "Which up, Duke?" "Courtin' Alta." "You'll have to show off your tricks pretty regular, I think, if you want to hold your own on that ranch." Taterleg rode along considering it. "Yes, I guess a feller'd have to act if he wants to hold Alta. She's young, and the young like change, especially the girls. A man, to keep Alta on the line'll have to marry her and set her to raising children. You know, Duke, there's something new to a girl in every man she sees. She likes to have him around till she leans agin him and rubs the paint off. Then she's out shooting eyes at another one." "Are there others besides Jedlick?" "Bartender boards there at the hotel. He's got 4 gold teeth, and he picks 'em with a quill. Sounds like somebody slapping the crick with a fishing pole, but them teeth give him a standing in society. They look like money in the bank. Nothing to his business, though, Duke. No sentiment or romance or anything." "Not much. Who else is there sitting in this Alta game?" "Young feller with a neck like a bottle, off a ranch somewhere back in the hills." Taterleg mentioned him as with consideration. Lambert concluded that he was a rival to be reckoned with, but gave Taterleg his own way of coming to that. "That feller's got a watch with a music box in the back of it, Duke. Ever see one of 'em?" "No, I never did." "Well, He's got one of 'em all right. He starts that thing up about the time he hits the steps, and comes in playing Sweet Violets like he just couldn't help busting out in music the minute he comes inside of Alta. Feller gives me a pain." The Duke smiled. To every man his own affair is romance, every other man's a folly or a diverting comedy indeed. "She's a little too keen on that feller to suit me, Duke. She sits out there with him and winds that fool watch and plays them two tunes over till you begin to sag, leaning her elbow on his shoulder like she had him paid for and didn't care whether he broke or not." "What is the other tune?" "That one that goes, heel and a toe and a pokey-o, a heel and a toe and a pokey-o. You know that one." "I've heard it. She'll get tired of that watch after a while, Taterleg." "Maybe. If she don't, I guess I'll have to figure some way to beat it." "What are Jedlick's attractions?" "Surely not good looks." "Money, Duke. That's the answer to him, money. He's got a salt barrel full of it. The old man favors him for that money." "That's harder to beat than a music box and a watch." "Can't beat it, Duke. What's good looks by the side of money, or brains? Well, they don't amount to cheese. Are you going to sidestep in favor of Jedlick, a man with all your experience and good clothes?" "Me? I'm a going to lay that fella out on a board." They hitched at the hotel rack, that looking more respectable, as Taterleg said, than to leave their horses in front of the saloon. Alta was heard singing in the interior. There were two railroad men belonging to a traveling paint gang on the porch, smoking their evening pipes. Lambert felt it was his duty to buy cigars in consideration of the use of the hitching rack. Wood appeared in the office door as they came up the steps and put his head beyond the jamb, looking this way and that like a man considering a sortie with enemies laying in wait. Taterleg went into the parlor to offer the incense of his cigar in the presence of Alta, who was cooing a sentimental ballad to her guitar. It seemed to be of parting and the hope of reunion, involving one named Irene. There was a run in the chorus accompaniment which Alta had down very neatly. The tinkling guitar, the simple, plaintive melody, sounded to Lambert as refreshing as the splash of a brook in the heat of the day. He stood listening, his elbow on the showcase, thinking vaguely that Alta had a good voice for singing babies to sleep. Wood stood in the door again, his stump of arm lifted a little, with an alertness about it that made Lambert think of a listening ear. He looked up and down the street in that uneasy, inquiring way that Lambert had remarked on his arrival, then came back and got himself a cigar. He stood across the counter from Lambert a little while, smoking, his brows drawn in trouble, his eyes shifting constantly to the door. "Duke," said he, as with an effort, "there's a man in town looking for you. I thought I'd tell you." "Looking for me? Who is he?" "Sam Hargus." "You don't mean Nick?" "No, he's Nick's brother. I don't suppose you ever met him." "Never heard of him." "He's only been back from Wyoming a week or two. He was over there sometime several years, I believe." "In the pen over there?" Wood took a careful survey of the door before replying, working his cigar over to the other side of his mouth in the way that a one-armed man acquires the trick. They say he got mixed up in a cattle deal down there." Lambert smoked in silence a little while, his head bent, his face thoughtful. Wood shifted a little nearer, standing straight and alert behind his counter, as if prepared to act in some sudden emergency. "Does he live around here?" Lambert asked. "He's working for Barry Kerr, foreman over there. That's the job he used to have before he left." Lambert grunted, expressing that he understood the situation. He stood in his leaning, careless posture, arm on the showcase, thumb hooked in his belt near his gun. "Thought I'd tell you," said Wood uneasily. "Thanks." Wood came a step nearer along the counter, leaned his good arm on it, watching the door without a break. "He's one of the old gang that used to give Philbrook so much trouble. He's carrying lead that Philbrook shot into him now. So he's got it in for that ranch and everybody on it. Thought I'd tell you." "I'm much obliged to you, Mr. Wood," said Lambert heartily.